So, good evening, my name is Alan Ng and I will talk about how pesticide retention in strawberry plantations in California can be improved. 1,3-dichloropropene is one of the many gases that is pumped into the soil to kill pesticides, to kill pests and diseases. In an article published by Yoon, which is called California's Strawberry Industry is Hooked on Dangerous Pesticides, more than 1 million people live in the 100 communities where growers have exceeded the 1,3-dichloropropene health limits. Based on the Department of Pesticide Regulation, the most recent limits for 1,3-dichloropropene is about 200,000 pounds. Going beyond these limits puts the people in these communities at a greater risk of health problems. Can you imagine if we included the other types of pesticides? More than 1 million people will be affected by them. The image shows the use of 1,3-dichloropropene in California. As you can see, pesticides are almost everywhere you go in California, and some locations have exceeded the approved limits. California is allowing this because the strawberry demand in California takes an important role in their economy. In my problem speech, I discussed why pesticides are very volatile. I also discussed their increased use and their consequences due to exposure. We became aware of the inefficiency of the current plastic films that are used to retain pesticides. As an engineer, I believe that everything can be improved. And by addressing the current tools to retain pesticides, I believe that people's lives can be improved. In my speech today, I will be using research articles published by Stephen Fenimore and Hussein Ashwa, who are PhD professionals in soil and weed science. They have done research on the current tools to retain pesticides, and that makes them experts on my topic. My research will focus on equipment that could be used to improve pesticide retention, instead of looking for other farming practices. The inefficiencies of the current plastic films could be addressed with a totally impermeable film, which retains more pesticides. In my speech today, I will explain why pesticide emissions is an issue that concerns us all. Also, I will explain how the totally impermeable film retains more pesticides. Finally, I will explain the benefits that can be experienced if the farming industry implements it. First, let's discuss why pesticide emissions require our attention. Pesticide emissions from strawberry plantations in California affect us all by depleting the ozone layer. Another pesticide used in the strawberry industry is methyl bromide. According to an article by Honoganabali and Sieber, methyl bromide follows this cycle. First, the methyl bromide that is used in crops gets to the stratosphere, where UV radiation dissociates methyl bromide and other brominated compounds into bromine atoms. Then the bromine atoms react with ozone to produce oxygen. In an article published by Guardian US, it stated that methyl bromide accounts for 5 to 10% of the ozone depletion. If the ozone layer is depleted, more people will be exposed to UV radiation, which will make them prone to skin cancer and cataracts. Furthermore, some crops will fail and some marine life could be destroyed. Now that we know what we should care about pesticide emissions, let's explore how the totally impermeable film retains more pesticides. The numerous layers in the totally impermeable film allow the film to retain more pesticides. In the 1960s, the soil was just covered with a polyethylene film. The polyethylene film was just a gas impermeable film, and as time progressed, another plastic film was created. It was called the virtually impermeable film. It is a film of 3 layers, 2 polyethylene layers, and 1 polyamide or nylon layer. The polyamide or nylon layer was another gas impermeable layer. Lastly, the totally impermeable film is the most current film created. It is a film of 5 layers with 2 ethylene vinyl alcohol layers embedded in 3 polyethylene layers. As the number of layers increases, more pesticides can be retained. So why isn't there just a polyethylene film? Why isn't there just a really thick polyethylene film? It sounds as a solution for this problem. Well, a really thick polyethylene film could also be used. However, it will be more expensive than a film of different layers. Because we want to implement this film into the farming industry, we want to take price into consideration and we want to minimize it. Also, there's data that supports that the totally impermeable film retains more pesticides. In 2008, Stephen Fenimore and Hussein Ashwa conducted trials to compare the efficiencies between the standard polyethylene film and the totally impermeable film. They found, each day, a volatile organic compound reading will be taken. The VOC readings will measure the amount of pesticides under the film. As you can see in the image, crops that use the totally impermeable film had higher VOC values than crops that didn't use the totally impermeable film, meaning that the totally impermeable film retained more pesticides. Now that we know about the capabilities of the totally impermeable film, we can explore the benefits if the totally impermeable film is implemented in the farming industry. The totally impermeable film can lead to higher profits for farming industries by reducing the application of pesticides and by increasing the production of crops. Xing and other members published an article called Organic Compounds in the Environment. They stated that less fumigants will be needed with the use of the totally impermeable film. The concentrations retained will be enough to kill all the diseases and pathogens found in the soil. They believe that this benefit can counteract potentially the high cost of the totally impermeable film. Also, high productivity due to the totally impermeable film also leads to higher profits. Stephen Fenimore and Hussein Ashwa found that crops that use the totally impermeable film had higher yields of strawberries. No matter how much the amount of pesticide used, the totally impermeable film was more efficient by helping crops in the yield of more fruits. Stephen Fenimore and Hussein Ashwa believe that in the long run, this benefit can help industries overcome the price of the totally impermeable film. Therefore, the issue of pesticide emissions can be resolved. In summary, pesticide emissions is an issue that affects us all, and the totally impermeable film is the most efficient tool to retain pesticides in the soil. Using the totally impermeable film can lead to higher or better farming practices, which can translate into higher profits for farming industries. The numerous layers in the totally impermeable film and the specific layers in the totally impermeable film allow it to retain more pesticides than any other film. With the implementation of the totally impermeable film, we can improve people's lives and farming industries can benefit economically. Now, if you have questions, I will try my best to answer them.